Hello to Lucy. Hello to Acadia, little girls. I've got another book to read for you today. I hope everything's going well for you today, and I hope you enjoy this. I miss you guys. I remember being out there a few weeks ago. I had a lot of fun, especially trying to buy things in the store. I hope the store is still there. Maybe it's not, but that was a lot of fun. Anyway, there are 3 books. I'm going to show the books to you, and then I'm going to pick one out. You can't talk back to me on the video, so you're not going to be able to tell me which one you want. But these are the books that I got most recently at the library. Let's see if I can put them in the right place. This one is called Dinosaur Cove, Attack of the Tyrannosaurus. And this is not part of a series that we've already started reading from. It's a new series. So these are 2 boys in school, and we're going to learn who they are when we read this book. And so that's Dinosaur Cove, Attack of the Tyrannosaurus. This is the Kingdom of Wrenly. You've read Kingdom of Wrenly before. This is book 12, The Sorcerer's Shadow. Ooh, that looks pretty scary. I don't know, that may be too scary to read right now. And the last one, this is one I'm going to read. It is The Kingdom of Wrenly, Book 5, Adventures in Flatfrost. There's Clara, and that's Prince Lucas. And that's their dragon. So, Adventures in Flatfrost. We'll read the first half of this book. And here's the map. Where's Flatfrost? You may remember Flatfrost is a place on the map. I don't think we've had anything happen in Flatfrost before. There is Flatfrost, Flatfrost, Flatfrost. And see, the palace is over here. We've been to the palace. We've been to Primlocks. We've been to Hobbs Grove. We've been to Bog Perp. Mermaid's Cove, of course. I know you like that. So let's get started on this book, The Kingdom of Wrenly, Adventures in Flatfrost. Boy, somebody's got big feet. I bet Flatfrost is a place where it's cold. Frost means, as you know, kind of frozen water that's in a very light form. 10 chapters. This is a chapter book. Chapter 1, Hide and Seek. Chapter 2, Spoiled. Chapter 3, Penalties. Chapter 4, In a Pickle. Chapter 5, Farewell. So we're going to read the first 5 chapters, about 50 pages, and then we'll do the other next time. Uh-oh, somebody's got a cold. It looks like Ruskin. Hide and Seek. Whoosh! Flames swirled from Ruskin's mouth and torched a giant block of ice. It hissed and melted into a puddle. Prince Lucas and his best friend Clara scurried behind another stack of ice and crouched. Oh, they're playing hide and seek. They're hiding behind the ice, and then Ruskin is melting the ice with his breath. The friends had been playing hide and seek in the larder. That's where you keep food, like frozen food maybe, all afternoon. Stacks and stacks of enormous ice blocks filled the room, which was located beneath the kitchen in the castle cellar. The ice kept the royal food cold. The larder was also the perfect place to play a chilly round of hide and seek. This had become their favorite game. Lucas and Clara poked their heads above a stack of ice blocks and waggled their tongues at Ruskin. The dragon scampered toward them. Whoosh! He blasted another fireball at a huge wall of ice blocks. The wall melted, but there was no sign of Lucas or Clara. They had already found a new hiding spot. Look at all the water on the floor there. Ruskin's melting all the ice. I'm not sure that's a great idea. The cook is probably not going to be happy, and we can see the cook. See the cook in the page on the right there. But let me get to that part. Ruskin splashed across the cellar floor in search of his friends. Clang, clang, clang! The royal cook stood on the cellar stairs, banging together pans. Ruskin yelped and hid behind a stone column. Lucas and Clara stayed out of sight behind the last tower of ice. "Stop the madness!" shouted the cook. "You'll spoil my food." Lucas and Clara peeked at the royal cook from their hiding place. The cook had ruddy cheeks, it means kind of red cheeks, bushy black eyebrows, and a round middle. He wore a starched white hat with many pleats. Each pleat stood for an outstanding recipe and was awarded by the king and queen of Wrenly. The cook's real name was Berwick, but everyone called him Cook. Lucas had never heard Cook sound so angry. Maybe if we stay hidden, he'll go away, whispered Lucas. Clara nodded and squeezed her eyes shut. I know you're in here, Cook shouted. Drip, drip, drip. Water dripped from the thawing food onto the floor. The food's thawing out now. Lucas and Clara stayed perfectly still. You better surrender, Prince, Lucas, said the cook, or I'll report you and your naughty dragon to your father, the king. What should we do? Whispered Clara. I guess we'd better face up to Cook, Lucas whispered back. Lucas and Clara slowly stood up and came out from behind the ice blocks. They squeezed sideways between a leg of lamb and a side of beef that hung from the rafters. Cook glared at the children. Uh-oh, whispered Lucas. Cook looks like he is about to explode. Chapter 2. Spoiled. My meats, my poultry, my pies and custards, all my food is going to go bad, cried Cook. How can I make the royal meals with spoiled food? Lucas had to admit he hadn't thought about the food spoiling. It had been fun to hide behind the ice blocks, and Ruskin had just as much fun melting the ice with his fiery breath. This had been the best game of hide and seek they'd ever played. Can't we just order more ice? Asked Lucas as he, Clara, and Ruskin followed Cook upstairs to the kitchen. Cook wheeled around on the steps and glared at Lucas. No, we cannot, shouted Cook. We had our ice delivery yesterday morning. The giants deliver ice from Flatfrost only once a month. Cook shook his head. I don't know which is more spoiled, he went on, my food or you. Uh-oh. Lucas hung his head, and Ruskin cowered behind his master. Do you children know what the giants have to do to bring ice to the palace? Lucas and Clara shook their heads. They had no idea, but they had a feeling that they were about to find out. Each and every block of ice is hand-cut from one of Flatfrost's high mountain lakes. See, they cut the ice. They had no refrigerators back then. So they had to cut the ice, but with a saw, and then cut it into blocks. This is from a frozen lake, and put it into a sled and bring it on down. It's very hard work. The giants haul the harvested ice down the mountain by horse-drawn sleds. At the bottom of the mountain, the ice is transferred into wagons. Then the ice is brought over rocky dirt roads to the castle. Oh, Lucas said. He and Clara had occasionally seen the wagon loads of ice arrive at the castle, but they'd never really given it much thought. Then Cook shook a fat finger in the children's faces. Ice is a luxury, he declared. It involves hard work, something you two know very little about. Okay, see, you probably never realized that electricity has only been around a very short time. Prior to that, it was a big problem. How do you keep food cold? And generally, you didn't keep food cold. You had to eat it immediately or it would spoil. So it was a big problem. But some people who were wealthy, like kings, were able to have the giants cut ice for them, or maybe not giants, but people cut ice and then haul it down if they lived close enough to a mountain that had ice. And so the kingdom of Wrenly has some ice nearby. And so they use the ice to keep the food cold, like an ice box. Lucas and Clara nodded. What else could they do? They felt terrible. that they had upset Cook. Cook squeezed his pudgy hands into fists. "Just wait until your father hears about this," he ranted. "He will not be pleased." And with that, Cook marched out of the kitchen to find the king. Chapter 3, Penalties. "I'd better go," said Clara. "Okay," Lucas said. "I'll see you later." Clara hurried out of the kitchen door and down the steps. Lucas turned to Ruskin. "Get ready for another lecture," said Lucas. Ruskin whimpered. The prince stroked his dragon's swept-back horns. The two of them had gotten into a lot of trouble lately, especially Ruskin. Ruskin had developed a fire-breathing problem. He breathed fire like most children like to blow bubbles. Poor Ruskin, he hadn't meant to cause any harm, but the damage had begun to add up. Ruskin had scorched the castle walls inside and out. He had torched Queen Tasha's favorite tapestry of the royal family crest. He had charbroiled the royal swing set, not to mention the royal teeter and tree fort. Not only that, Ruskin had set the royal apple orchard on fire. Look at that. See the fire? The king had lost 4 prized apple trees, and now Ruskin had melted almost all of the ice in the larder. Lucas heard footsteps in the hallway. Stefan, one of the king's men, entered the kitchen. "Prince Lucas, the king will see you in the library," he said. "Oh." Normally, Stefan did not address Lucas in such a formal way. This is not a good sign, thought Lucas. "Come on, Ruskin," he said to his dragon. "Let's go." "Not so fast," said Stefan. "Ruskin must go straight to his lair." See, they're dragging Ruskin away to his lair. That means his cave where he hangs out, or wherever it is he hangs out. Then Stefan tied a rope around Ruskin's neck and led him away. Ruskin squawked and whined. "It'll be okay, buddy," said Lucas as he walked into the hallway. Lucas actually wasn't sure it would be okay, but he would soon find out. He entered the library. The king and queen sat next to the fireplace in gilded chairs. That means chairs with kind of gold trimming. His father had his arms folded. He didn't look happy. "Son," began King Caleb. Lucas hated it when his father began with the word son. It rarely ended well. Ooh, look at those little gargoyles. Very scary looking. This is their library. "This time you and your mischievous dragon have gone too far," said the king. "You have destroyed Cook's ice and possibly all of the food in the larder. Tell me, how could you be so thoughtless?" Lucas looked at his boots. "It has become clear that the castle is no place for a dragon," the king went on. "I should never have allowed it." King Caleb then looked to Queen Tasha for support. The queen nodded for him to go on. "You have given me no choice." What is he going to do? Said the king. "Ruskin will have to return to Crestwood for proper training." Lucas lifted his head and stared at his father in disbelief. "No, father, please don't take Ruskin away," he cried. "I promise I'll be better about training him." The king's face did not soften. "I'm afraid you are both in need of training," he declared. "As punishment for your reckless behavior, you and Ruskin will go to Flatfrost first thing in the morning." "Flatfrost?" Lucas cried. "But why?" "Because I want you to apologize to the giants," said the king. "For what?" questioned Lucas. "You have caused them more work," said the king. "Therefore, you will apologize, and you will also help harvest more ice for Cook." "But father," protested Lucas. "No buts," said the king. "You must learn to fix your own mistakes. And when you learn And when you return, Ruskin will go to Crestwood for training. Crestwood is where the dragons hang out. Let me show you that on the map. I know you always want to be oriented to where everything is on the map. Okay, Crestwood. Down here is where the dragons are, see? Down here, Crestwood. So, go to Crestwood for training. Lucas frowned at his father. Then he ran to his room and slammed the door as hard as he could. See, just like a little kid. He's mad. He's being punished and he's mad. And he runs to his room and he slams the door. That's not very mature, is it? That's when you get punished for something, you should be a big girl. If you're a girl like Lucy and Acadia are girls, be a big girl, accept your punishment, and resolve to do better next time. No sense getting mad about it. That's what a little baby does. A little baby gets mad. Young ladies like you need to accept responsibility and do better next time. That's all you can do. Chapter 4. Look at Lucas. See, he's like a baby. He's crying. Look at that. He's getting punished, so he's crying. So maybe it's still okay if you're 5 years old or 6 years old or 4 years old to cry when you get punished. But when you get older, you should learn to do better and not cry. In a pickle. This is chapter 4. It's called In a Pickle. Pickle. Lucas punched his pillow. He didn't want to go to Flatfrost. And even worse, what if Ruskin had to go to Crestwood for a long time? How will I live without him? Lucas wondered. His dragon had become his faithful companion. Lucas loved to spend time with Clara too, but she was often busy. Clara had school most days, and then she had to make bread deliveries with her father. But Ruskin was always there for Lucas. Kind of like Rex, huh? Always around to play with. Lucas buried his face in his pillow. What if Ruskin can't be trained, he thought. What if he never comes back? Lucas stared at the ceiling. A few minutes later, he was called for dinner, but he didn't feel like eating. He yawned, and soon he fell back to sleep. See, he's pouting. He's saying, I don't want to eat dinner. I don't want to eat dinner, just because he's feeling sorry for himself. That's not very mature, but it's what little kids sometimes do. In the morning, sun streamed through the turret windows, and Lucas's eyes popped wide open. His mother sat on the edge of the bed. I brought hot chocolate, she said, setting the mug down. Lucas sat up and rubbed his eyes. Then he remembered his father's punishment. Oh, Mother, wailed Lucas, do I really have to go to Flatfrost? Here's a picture. There's Queen Tasha. Yeah, now he realizes he has to go to Flatfrost. This is, by the way, this is one of the earlier Kingdom of Wrenly books. It's book number 5. Some of the other books we've read, Lucas is a little bit older and he's more mature than this. But this was when Lucas was a little bit younger, so he was acting kind of childish about things. He wasn't really grown up very much then. Okay, so he's whining. He's whining. Oh, Mother, do I really have to go to Flatfrost? I know you girls don't really know what whining is, but that's what whining is. Yes, said the Queen as she gently stroked Lucas's forehead with her fingertips. You and Ruskin must learn to respect people and their work. Flatfrost was in the mountains where it snowed year-round. Lucas had passed by Flatfrost on horseback, but he'd never traveled into the mountains. Clara will also go along with you, his mother went on. Her parents would like her to apologize to the giants too. Well, at least he's got Clara with him. That's good. How long will we have to be there? Asked Lucas. Until the ice is cut. And how long will that take? A few days, the Queen said. I don't want to go, Lucas complained, whining again. I don't want to leave you and Father for that long. I don't want you to go either, but it will be good for you. You may even like it. There they are talking again. He's having his hot chocolate. Oh, his mother's very pretty. Almost as pretty as your mother. Man, not really. Lucas sniffled, and his mother handed him a handkerchief. He's sniffling, so he's trying to cry again. Right now, you need to get dressed, she said, patting him on the shoulder. Then you may join us for breakfast before you go. Lucas flopped back down on his pillow and moaned. Come on now, said the queen, ruffling his hair. Then she got up and left the room. Well, at least Clara and Ruskin will be with me, he thought. Chapter 5, Farewell. Okay, this is the last chapter for right now. It's chapter 5, Farewell. Time to go, Prince Lucas, said Stefan. Miss Clara has arrived. There's Stefan there, see you. Miss Clara has arrived. Lucas pushed out his chair from the breakfast table and followed Stefan to the front hall. Clara was already examining the huge pile of traveling clothes that were left out for them. Lovely fur coats and fur hats, along with fur-lined gloves and boots. That sounds nice. Very warm. Lucas also found woolen undergarments, a shirt, trousers, socks, and underpants. This is what you'll wear on the trip, Stefan said. Clara tried to imagine being cold enough to wear fur coats. Please put on the woolen undergarments and the boots for the first part of the journey, Stefan continued. We'll put on our outer clothes when we get to the mountains. Look at all that warm clothes they have.
Are you still reading?
Oh, hold on a second. Yes, I'm still reading.
You're still reading?
We're on the last chapter. There's Grandmommy. Say hi, Grandmommy.
Hi!
Okay.
Hi! Okay, dear Lucy?
Okay, what does Grandmommy want? Grandmommy's just come into my office. She has a question for me.
I
Let's see what the question is.
want to see how to take this thing out.
How to take the batteries out?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I bet you just put your thumbnail under there and go whoop.
Nope.
Or whoop. Or you get a pin like this. And you
Maybe
go,
the knife or something. No, maybe
whoop.
the knife. Maybe the knife. Okay, I go do it.
Well, I think you
might
just use you need something to pry it out.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, well, apparently we're putting new batteries in one of the thermostat controls. So if when I finish the chapter, I'll go check on Grandmama to see if she's been able to figure that out. I thought I could do it easily, but I couldn't. Okay, where were we now? Okay, there we are. They're loading the wagon up. There's the horse and the wagon. They're taking some supplies with them. And who's this? Ruskin. After Lucas and Clara got changed, they helped Stefan load the wagon with supplies. Cook had made several enormous loaves of bread to take to the giants. Once the bread had been loaded and one of the king's men had gotten Ruskin from his lair, they climbed aboard the horse-drawn wagon. Oh, good. I'm glad they're taking some bread for the giants. That's how they're going to pay for the ice, probably. To thank them for making the ice, for giving them the ice and sawing it out of the lake. The large wagon was led by 2 horses. Stefan said they would need the extra room to carry the ice back to the castle. Then the king and the queen and Clara's mother saw them off. Bye, everybody. See, there they are, over there. Be a good boy, said his mother with a warm smile. Do some good thinking, said the king. Mind your manners, said Anna, Clara's mother. Lucas and Clara waved goodbye. I can't believe our parents are sending us away, thought Lucas. Okay, that was chapter 5. When I read to you next time, I will begin with chapter 6, which is called Snowball. They're going into the mountains where it's called. Okay, beginning next time with chapter 6. This is The Kingdom of Wrenly, Adventures in Flatfrost. Bye-bye, girls.